So, in the last decade or so, we've seen the music industry take a really huge economic hit. And that hit's gone farther than just affecting the labels and the people that actually have the money in the industry. That it's gone so much farther that it's really directly affecting artists and their livelihoods. Um, since the rise of the digital age and file sharing, as early as things like Napster and LimeWire, FrostWire, where you'd go to download like a 3.5 minute song, and instead you'd get a 3.5 minute clip of Bill Clinton saying, "I did not have relations with that young woman." Since those days, it's everything's kind of become free, whether we like it or not. And unfortunately, we aren't at a stage now where technology has advanced to the point where we can correct that or we can stop it from happening. But we are at a point now where we can do something about it, and we can stop the industry from falling down any farther than it already has.
Take me, take me to the top. Take me to your penthouse, sweet baby. Money and brighter dreams we will have when in your
My
Egyptian.
name's Robert Herr. I'm the founder of Static Wave U.S.
My name is Lawrence Fickenworth. I am a graduate from Clarion University of Pennsylvania, and I also sing in a band called Royal Revise that I have built from the ground up with some of my best friends.
My name is Ryan Weaver. I have been playing in professional bands for probably almost 10 years now. The last one was called On the Run, toured nationally a bit. And yeah, I'm a guitar player.
The old ways of selling records at record stores and kids waiting in line to get their favorite CDs at midnight, that stuff is changing. With a click of a button, you can pre-order an album, have it downloaded immediately to your mobile device the night it comes out.
I think record labels could survive. I think that there's just a really large change. I mean, there's going to be a really large change coming. Obviously, you're always going to need a record label there in terms of if you want to put out physical copies, because record labels are so much more than just controlling your career and managing you. And they handle distribution. There's a lot of really great independent artists. In fact, a lot of the largest independent artists right now are completely independent. We have Billboard artists, Billboard #1 artists that are just doing distribution through a major label. So I think that there's potential for the major labels to still survive, but there needs to be a change.
A record label is a business, and as a business, they want to make as much profit as they can from their artists, and that is done by adhering to like a social standard. So you've got all these styles of music and you've got all these genres, and they're very cookie cutter. And to break outside of that is really hard because you have to have a really established name before you can actually start to break the rules.
The future of the recording industry, I'm going to give you in one word, in my opinion, is independent. I think that the system that we've developed over the last couple of years with record labels, or over the last couple of decades, I should say, it's going obsolete. Again, like I said, with the rise of the digital age and file sharing, the ability to sell music has become so much harder. There's so many different ways to share music now that people aren't required to purchase it anymore.
Most people will listen to their music through streaming services or digital downloads of albums. If an artist knows how to truly embrace those and use those to their advantage, then they will be able to overcome the issues that such as record sales.
Only diehard fans will buy a full album for a full record price. It's so streaming is just the reasonable counterbalance.
For some statistics, on average, a record label takes anywhere from 50 to 60% of profits off of sales. So if you break that down into an iTunes, that's 50 to 60 cents off of each song. And then going through a service like iTunes or Amazon, they take roughly 30 cents off of each song, roughly rounds to 30%. So here at the end of the day, you have say 90% of profits gone from an artist. And with that 10%, that artist has to pay their booking agent, their management. For an artist to get a deal of 7% or even 6 or 5% is a good deal now. And I just don't think that that's effective. I don't think that's efficient. I think that there should be more money going into the artist's pocket than what there is.
You create a message and an image, and you own it. You don't let people tell you how to do things. You be yourself. And as with everything, things change. And as an artist, you have to know how to evolve over time, and learning how to evolve in the direction that you feel you should go and making that the strongest appeal you can be, then I think that's what will help an artist stand out.
Social media is one of the most amazing tools that we've seen in the 21st century, especially for independent artists. Because before, when an artist was doing a ramp up to a record, or they were doing a ramp up to a tour, they would have to go and they'd have to physically pay for radio advertising, or they'd have to pay for television advertising, they'd have to pay for billboards, they'd have to pay for flyers, they'd have to pay for a ton of different digital press or physical press publications. They'd actually have to pay to have the advertisement there, and a lot of the label backing and financial backing is that's where that came from.
People can send something they're feeling, something they're thinking that maybe the artist is feeling the same way about, and understand that this needs to be told. Like maybe it's a story that needs to be told, and you can gain direct input from your fans. It's an amazing thing.
You can now communicate directly with your favorite artist. You go to a show and you're able to tweet them afterwards and say, "Yo, I took this really badass photo of you," and you can post it up, and the artist can actually respond to you. Or you can when an album comes out, you can kind of send them if it's on Twitter, 120 character review, and your thoughts, and you're able to communicate more directly with the artist, and the artist can use that to their advantage. They know what their fans want to hear, they know what their fans want to see, and they can make it a more fan-oriented experience. For the artist to be able to connect with fans is definitely huge. I mean, we've seen that with crowdfunding. Certain big companies, Kickstarter, for example, they're absolutely wonderful at what they do. It's allowing fans to say, "Hey," or allowing artists, excuse me, to say, "Hey, we have this idea. We want to record the record. We want to record a record for you guys, but we don't quite have the funding to do it." So they can post, a crowdfund. They can post something on a crowdfunding site like Kickstarter or GoFundMe or something like that. And their fans can give them the money and essentially donate to them.
Crowdfunding at this point, I think, is the name of the new game. It's changed the world in terms for the indie artist.
For me, an independent artist is somebody that's not backed by a record label, that doesn't have this whole team of people controlling their image and controlling what they say and controlling what they do. And an independent artist is just that. It's an artist. They're able to express themselves without having a boardroom of people around them going, "Hey, no, you can't do that."
I believe Static Wave is a means for an artist to make their mark on the world through self-reliance, perseverance, and with a little help from people who feel the same.
Static Wave is a new way for the artist to deliver music to its fans. It's an innovative way where you can break all the rules of the social media and break the rules of the music industry.
So essentially, when an artist signs to a record label, they're kind of allowing the record label to take control of their career and market them the way that they best see fit. As where when an artist comes to Static Wave, they pay us to help boost the image that they want. We help them become a better version of themselves.
Well, I met Bob a long time ago, and he's always had a very entrepreneurial spirit and a very new way of looking at things. And so he and I have kept in touch over the years, and we really started looking at a new way to manage and market, especially with like the advent of the digital music age.
When I was in college, I started my band with my friends, and we all had like this dream, and to accomplish it, we all had to step up into different roles. And with my field of study, which was communications, marketing, promotions, and journalism, and all that, it really like fed into what I needed to do for my extra role in the band. And from there, the love of wanting to build an artist from the ground up started.
Record labels are giving an artist hundreds of thousands of dollars to go out and record an album, and put time and money into the branding and into distribution and everything else, and the artist simply can't make that money back. Static Wave overall is it's the artist's tool. So the artist can come to us and say, hey, look, I have this really badass vision for a record, and I want to make it happen. And so we'll sit down with our team and we'll be able to, give them ideas. At the end of the day, everything is still completely in the artist's hands. We're there to help the artist shape their vision and help that vision come to life, without them having to worry about walking away from it all tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
I understand like what it's like to be an independent musician and trying to make it, and I feel that we are a great means to make that happen for them.
Your music is really your own. There's nobody over top telling you what you can and can't do. You can break the rules. You can overcome things that you normally wouldn't have been able to do with a traditional style record label. We're not behind you with $100,000 saying you have to make this record and make it sound like the industry wants you to sound. You get to sound how you want to sound.
I'm in the music business for one reason, and that's to make a change and make a statement. And it's because I'm seeing, music, which is such a great therapeutic tool, and there's a lot of really great artists that are putting out phenomenal music that's very relatable to people that's unfortunately getting swept under the rug. The industry has become so flooded and so suffocated by superficiality and brands and this fake image. And it's become less and less about the art. It's become almost a way of setting a false standard, I think. I don't think we should be putting artists out to the public as symbols. I think we should be putting them out as artists. We shouldn't be letting somebody's image define their art. We should be letting their art define their image.
There are a lot of really talented artists out there, and there are a lot of artists that maybe not as talented, but they're working their way up. But at the same time, there's a lot of artists that all sound really similar, and it's kind of hard to like pick a clear like front runner among artists like that, which leads to so many bands just hitting a certain level and then flooding the industry with the same sounding music.
There's an infinite amount of possibilities. You can do whatever you want. The concept of music training was always interesting to me because it was a series of rules, and then once you learn the rules, you can break the rules. And once you start breaking the rules, there's just nothing you can't do.
For people that genuinely love music and care about the industry and care about the art itself, I don't want to seem like I'm promoting us too much here with a cheesy line, but watch us. Watch what we do, because we're taking back the music industry and taking back entertainment, and we're going to put it back where it belongs, in the hands of the artists, in the hands of the creators.
Take me to the top. Your world is so bright. Take me to the top of the charts tonight. Free my mind from poverty and take me to your bed. It's the top of the world tonight, and I see you.